First, let me start this video. I'm not here to bash the M4 processor. Not at all. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I'm on record doing several reviews of those particular processors on the channel, and I speak very highly of them. So I do think they're fantastic. However, that said, a lot of users kept leaving some comments in my videos indicating that they're having issues with it. Now, their first natural reaction is they're having issues with their interface. And I think most of them are probably not even considering, is it really the interface manufacturer, or is it an issue with Apple, or both? So we're going to kind of discuss that today. I think anybody who watches my channel knows that I'm a big fan of RME products, and that's really what sparked a lot of this. Apparently, a lot of RME products are struggling with some clocking issues, various kinds of issues. You can go in Google and type various search patterns and things like that, just like I did, to find out more about this. So this is not isolated. It's somewhat widespread to a degree. There's also certain applications that are known to have problems with it. Whether you use Luna as an example, that's one of the ones that are issues. Sequoia is also proving to be an issue with some of these interfaces and their ability to remain stable. So when you're looking at a computer for your studio, I think you really have to take this into consideration and validate if the interface you're using and the digital audio workstation you're using, if there's any known issues with the M4 processor. So my first thought is, why is this something related to M4? This didn't get reported with M1, it didn't get reported with M2, it didn't get reported with M3, but now M4 has come along. So I don't know what's different under the hood with Apple regarding this. You know, it's obviously seems to me, again, I'm no expert, but it seems to me there's some architecture changes in this that could possibly be causing the issue. And from all the research that I did, it seems like Apple needs to do a firmware update on the Macs with the M4 processor, whether that's the M4, the M4 Pro, or the M4 Max. You know, they're probably going to need to do that. Also, some audio manufacturers, once that's done, may need to tweak their firmware. So I recently did a review of the M4 Max Mac Studio, and I had outstanding results with it. Now, if you watch that video, I didn't understand it at the time, but now I've got myself asking, was some of this possibly related to those issues I was having? I tried to session and I tried to open it in Studio One. I could barely just get it open in Studio One, but I had all kinds of issues, so I wasn't going to be able to demonstrate it in Studio One. Then I tried it in Pro Tools. I had issues with Pro Tools, although nothing like I had in Studio One. So then I tried it in Cubase, the most recent version of Cubase, and it wouldn't even open. However, when I opened it in Logic, it ran perfectly fine. Now, we all know, or if you don't know, let me tell you, Logic, ironically, you'd think if there's any digital audio workstation out there that would support all the cores on a Mac computer, it would be Logic. But sadly, they don't. Pro Tools does. I think a couple of others do. I think Cubase does. They're able to take advantage of all cores. Now, that's a separate issue, a separate discussion for another day, but kind of keep that in mind as well. However, I had no issues whatsoever with Logic. And so, was it really an issue with those digital audio workstations? Or was it directly tied to the fact that I'm using it with an RME UFX Plus? And was that the issue? Well, if it worked perfectly fine in Logic, my kind of common sense tells me it's not an issue related to RME. It's rather an issue caused somewhere else for some reason. And I don't have the answer for that today. I think this will soon get worked out. I think it will get sorted out, but it's leaving some people with a bad taste in their mouth. And a lot of things they just want to say, well, I got it, it's not working, so I'm going to send it back, as if there's a flaw with the interface. And that's not the case. It's known to have issues with some analog products. It's known to have issues with Focusrite products. It's known to have issues with RME products, as well as a couple of others. Again, there's issues with Luna. There's one other, I can't remember which digital audio workstation was, but there's another one where there's issues associated with that, but not in others. So I have an M4 Mac Mini that I use for other things that I really never have connected to an interface. But I will do some basic editing and things like that, and I have no issues with any of those applications. So again, that's also another question that begs the question, where does the issue truly lie? And I don't have an answer for that today, but I think you all need to be aware of it. So before we talk a little bit more about this, I want to talk about a separate business that I have that really services the audio community. And it's a woodworking business where I make custom enclosures for Softube's Console 1 system, the MK3, the Fader MK3. You're seeing some pictures and everything of that right now. I also just launched it for PreSonus's Faderport 8 and Faderport 16. You'll see that here. I will be pretty soon doing it for Avid's S1 and the dock as well. And then I'll continue to offer others. I'm kind of expanding that. And the approach that I take is taking an economical approach to it versus the all-on, full-on enclosures that really look like a work of art in the studio. Now, I use only custom high-grade quality wood. I mill it all myself, and I make it in my wood shop here at my home. So please go check that out at www.artisanwoodshed.com. Lastly, I'm part of the affiliate program with Sweetwater, so if you're going to be purchasing something from Sweetwater, I'd appreciate it if you choose that link in the description below. It's in all of my videos, so I don't have to come back to this one. I also have the same thing for Thomann over in Europe. And so if you're buying from either one of those manufacturers or any one of those studios, please use one of my links. It's a way you can support my channel because I get a tiny, tiny itty bit of that. And if you watch my channel, you know I don't take outside sponsorships. My opinion is always my opinion and never influenced by anyone else. And I suffer for that financially because I'm like that, but I do that because of my integrity is important to me and I want to be of value to you. So please consider those things. So I'm going to be doing a lot more testing on this whole process. I'm going to bring that M4 processor into the studio. I'm going to start continuing to do some more testing and things like that. But I hopefully this will get resolved very quickly because again, I think probably the two very best options if you're in the Mac world today, the two very best options for you, especially when you consider the cost versus the performance, is the Mac Mini Pro. I think if you look at that, that's a fantastic option, as well as the Mac Studio M4 Max. I think that also is it's really going to boil down to how many ports do you need, what are some other things, and do you do other things outside of audio? As an example, I do things with video. So the performance difference between the M4 Pro and the M4 Max and the Mac Studio versus that was substantial in my opinion. I use Final Cut Pro and I was able to do a whole lot more. These are all shot in 4K. And oftentimes I do other things where I do what's called multicam, where I'll take 2 or 3 cameras shooting the same angle, you're shooting different angles to capture a kind of a feel and a vibe for things unrelated to the YouTube channel. And editing all of that takes its tax and its toll on the processor as well as the GPU. So kind of keep that in mind. But I think these are absolutely fantastic. So is this really, I guess the question bears to mind. Again, I'm a huge fan of RME, but I will tell you this right now, and I hate to say this because I really don't know where the fault truly lies. My instincts tell me through a process of eliminations and the fact that I've used these different ones here in the studio, that it is most likely not an issue with the audio manufacturer. That's my guess. I have no idea. I do believe this is probably an issue with the M4 processor somehow, some way, and it's inconsistency because the one thing that it is not, it's not consistent against all interfaces. It's not consistent against all digital audio workstations. There seem to be some things in there that are causing the issue. So I don't really know what it is. So that said, here's my advice to everyone out there. If you've got a computer that's serving you well today, now this is always going to be my advice, never upgrade your computer until the one you're using right now simply will no longer do what you need it to do. If your computer does what you need it to do, don't just go to the newest and greatest thing because you want to have the newest and greatest thing. It's better to maximize the potential of the computer you're at right now until it no longer will do, because by that time you will need to upgrade. And in that situation, you need to upgrade. We could be on the M7 or M8 Max as an example, and you're going to get more bang for your buck at that time. So if you're looking at the M4 Mac Mini or the M4 Mac Studio, or even the MacBook Pros with the M4, do your homework, do your due diligence, do a lot of heavy research on the interface that you're using, as well as your preferred digital audio workstation, or all the other things that are important to you in your studio. Go out there and try to search. What I tend to do is come up with patterns, like as an example, the M4 sucks with RME interfaces. The M4 sucks with Focusrite interfaces. You know, things like that. Come up with different things. significant problems with the Apple M4 and audio interfaces. Come up with all the different search patterns you can, because it's easy just to blame the tool in front of you, but rarely is it that tool in any aspect of life. It could be. We just don't know yet. But do your homework before you go out and purchase that, because the last thing you want to do is go out and spend all that money and then realize that you've now lost your ability to be productive, okay? So that's my strongest advice to you, and I strongly encourage you to consider that. I believe wholeheartedly this will get resolved, but wait until that time is my advice. That said, too, I'm not going to speak for the other audio manufacturers, but I am going to speak for RME, because I promote RME a lot on this channel, and no, I have no relationship with RME. As a matter of fact, they don't seem to want to have anything to do with me. I've reached out to them in the past to see if they want to do any Skype or video calls or things like that, and it kind of has fallen on deaf ears. I guess they don't like me. I don't know why, but they don't care for me. Maybe that's it, or maybe it's something else. It doesn't matter to me. At my age, I could care less whether somebody likes me or not. But regardless, when something's good and it's a good tool, I'm going to promote it. And I have had nothing but rock solid stability. The performance has been outstanding with RME. That said, until this issue is resolved, I cannot, in good faith, recommend anyone on the M4 set of processors purchase an RME product until this is resolved. I'm not going to speak for Focusrite. I'm not going to speak for Antelope. I'm not going to speak for some of these others that I seem to find in my search yesterday when I was looking into this, because I was quite shocked when people were telling me that they were having issues with RME. The reason they're coming back to my channel is because they know I'm such a huge supporter of that, and many of them purchase their RME interface based upon the things that I've had to say about it. So I take that responsibility seriously, very seriously, and the last thing I want to do is give advice that is not reliable advice. If I don't have an opinion, I just don't talk about it, period. But when I have an opinion, it's usually based on one with experience. And so that has been my case with RME. Again, huge fan, but I can't promote it right now. Hopefully this will get resolved very quickly and get it all and over with. Okay, so consider this a public service announcement. I hope you have a great Sunday. Today's Sunday, and I'm going to go spend the rest of the afternoon with my grandkids. Actually, we're going to go see Mission Impossible 3 first, and then we're going to go off and spend the rest of the afternoon at a pool. Because they're in town, and I love my grandchildren, okay? So anyway, until next time, hope every one of you have a great day, and hopefully you're taking this advice seriously, because I do strongly advise you to do that. And that's just one guy's opinion. You can take it or you leave it. It really is as simple as that, all right? Have a great day. Bye-bye.